thanks for tuning in. For this review, we're going to take a look at the DC Multiverse Build-A-Figure Ares from the Wonder Woman series. Initially, I wasn't going to get this guy, but I saw him at retail and I just couldn't resist. And the cool thing about this Build-A-Figure is that you only need 4 figures to complete the actual figure. There are actually 2 other figures that you can get in the line. One of them is the Wonder Woman and the other one is the Penelope figure. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but with those 2 figures you just get additional weapons like 2 flaming swords and a shield. So you don't actually have to get those to complete the actual figure. And the Wonder Woman one I think is a TRU exclusive, and the Penelope figure I think you can order from Amazon.com. So the packaging for this series is very straightforward, DC Comics Multiverse style packaging. You got the figure in there and obviously the parts sitting in the tray, but I've already taken it out. And on the side you got the photo of the character, and on the back you've got the BAF image showing which parts comes with who to build this guy. With the packaging out of the way, let's take a look at his one and only accessory that comes with the 4 figures. So he comes with this sword, and it's been painted in a way that it looks like it's glowing. And I have to say the effect does look quite good, because you can see there's glowing from the top as well. So it kind of gives it this radiant kind of look. So that's pretty well executed. In terms of sculpt, it's pretty simple in design. It just looks like wrought iron that's kind of on fire, and it fits in both of his hands quite nicely, and he holds it quite well. And here is a closer look at the figure. So starting with the head, very nicely sculpted ram's head helmet design. The material is kind of soft, so that's good. It will move out of the way for articulation, especially this back flap here, so that's kind of good. And on the inside there is actually a humanoid face, if you can, don't know if you can see that, but he does have 2 eyes and a nose, but the mouth is actually covered up, and the eyes are kind of painted grey, but it's very subtle, and I kind of wish it was a little bit brighter. So from a distance you can actually see the eyes kind of piercing out of the skull. And moving on to the body sculpt, very nicely detailed. It looks very metallic because of all these little details here on the armor, and you can see on the side there's sort of like battle damage sculpted in there, so that's kind of nice as well, and on the gauntlet armor as well. And just pointing out the shoulder pads, these are actually soft, so they will move out of the way for articulation. On this side it is soft as well, however it is kind of held down by this I guess it's like fur that goes over his shoulders, and it isn't as soft as the armor piece, so it's kind of rigid actually. So I think on this side he's going to have less of an articulation for the shoulders than on this side. And then there's like keys, I think, maybe detail on his strap, just quite kind of nice. And then moving down to his waist, so armor pieces again nice and soft and malleable, so they will move out of the way. On the back as well, pretty nicely sculpted and painted. I really love this subtle metallic blue that they've got going on with the armor. That's quite nice, and nice kind of sculpted detail on the legs, although the paint job isn't quite as nice here. You're missing quite a lot of wash on some of these parts. And then shin armor, nicely painted. There's a graduation from like dark to light, so that's kind of nice. And he has bare feet, which are not too bad, but I did kind of think the feet were a little bit small for the figure. Surprisingly, he stands pretty well even with kind of small feet, so that's pretty good. And with articulation, he can look up that much, look down that much, little tiny bit of tilting from side to side, which is not bad, and then obviously rotate, and you have to kind of move the back piece out of the way or it'll just pop off. So a little bit restricted because of the head design. And with the shoulders, he can lift up his arm that far, but I think on this side it's going to be a little bit less because of that piece here holding it down. but it's not too bad. And then obviously all the way around, bicep swivel here, goes all the way around, single joint elbows, but it actually gives them slightly more than 90 degrees, which is not too bad. And it does rotate at the lower elbow joint as well. He's got wrist swivel, so rotation, but it is a little bit hindered by this the gauntlet piece coming out. And then coming down to his body, he's got, I think, a ball joint diaphragm, so he can rock like this. He can crunch forward that far and stretch back that far, and a little bit of side to side tilting, which is good. It is a little bit gappy though, but not too fussed about that actually. And he's got waist cut rotation joint, so that's not too bad. And coming down to his hips, he can do, oh, oops, just disconnected, but he can do about that much of a split. And he can kick forward, unfortunately not too much. He can only kick forward about that far, and kick back quite a lot further than he can kick forward, which is kind of weird. Maybe if I push this piece up a little bit. No. So the kicking forward is basically hindered by his waist apron piece. So that's a little bit of a shame. Single joint knees, which gives him slightly less than 90 degrees. And he does have thigh rotation from that joint there. And coming down to his feet, he can point down that far, which is not bad, and up that far. Again, not bad at all. No rotation and no ankle pivot, unfortunately. And in terms of height, he measures about 19.5 centimeters to the top of his head, which is about 7.67 inches. And now for some size comparisons. Here he is with DC Multiverse Wonder Woman from the same series. Here he is with DC Icons Wonder Woman. Here he is with DC Multiverse Build-A-Figure Doomsday. Here he is with DC Multiverse Build-A-Figure Killer Croc. Here he is with Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Ares, SS Figuarts Son Goku, and finally Marvel Legends Cyclops. I actually think this Ares figure is wonderfully designed and well executed by Mattel. He's got some really nice sculpting detail on his body and his armor, and the paint job is very subtle, but I think it works really well. And to be honest, he does look a lot better in person than he does in any of the media images. I think his articulation is pretty good as well. There's a few things or few spots kind of letting him down. One of them is the limited leg articulation kicking forward, and the other one of course is the lack of ankle pivots on these DC figures, but we're kind of used to that now, I guess. He does stand quite well despite having really small feet, and of course he decides to fall as I try to demonstrate that, but yeah, he does stand quite well even though he has tiny feet. He looks really good for a Build-A-Figure, and the fact that you only need to buy 4 figures to complete this guy is a bit of a bonus, I think. Usually you have to buy 6 to 8 figures to build one of these dudes, but with this guy you only need 4. So I think in my mind it's a bit of a bargain. And that's it for my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time for another toy review.